Hi everyone, my name is Ervosa, and this is my newest retro hobby that I would love to share with you guys. It's really cool. For today's video, our story begins sometime early last year when I was window shopping at one of my favorite retro game stores for anything new that might have come in. And in the large bins holding countless records going down the middle of the store, I came across this gorgeous cover with gold foil tucked in way at the end. Now, childhood nostalgia notwithstanding, the soundtrack to Beauty and the Beast is absolutely incredible, and one of my favorites to casually listen to out of all the Disney films. So I instantly snatched this up, added it to the other items I found in the store, and continued perusing the other items they had for sale. I decided to take a look at the cover a little closer, and my brain completely short-circuited when I noticed words like full length and runtime, and also there's no track list. Instead, on the inside of the gatefold, it didn't have a track list, it had chapters. And I was like, what is going on? So I decided to read a little bit more. This apparently contains a special behind-the-scenes look at the animation of the film that was put together as a work-in-progress promotional sneak preview of sorts, which was first shown at the 1991 New York Film Festival. And at first I was like, actually that's kind of cool. You know, it's a bit more bang for your buck than a soundtrack. I love behind-the-scenes, I like watching animation. But you know, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, vinyls don't contain audio, and oh my gosh, it's a giant DVD. I did not know what wizardry I was holding, but at that moment in time, literally nothing else existed, nothing else mattered. I needed to own this magical giant disc. So I ran up to the store owner, and I was like, what in the Star Trek nonsense is this? There's like a 99% chance I'm buying it. Just please humor me and tell me. I just want to know what it is first. And turns out, all of these, are LaserDiscs. Now, in the simplest of terms, it essentially was the prototype of the CD, the DVD, and the Blu-ray, paving the way for their technology. And, in case you don't know what a CD, DVD, or Blu-ray is, they are a physical disc made out of a special material that's designed to have data inscribed on the face of it. You then place the disc in a corresponding machine, like this LaserDisc player or a DVD player, plug that into a TV or a set of speakers just for audio, and it reads the data using lasers to play whatever it's on, hence the name LaserDisc.
I see. And laser vision discs are played from the underside. Interesting. The encoded information on this disc is read by a laser beam. That means that the picture and sound quality must be far superior to videotape reproduction.
These were invented in 1963 as an optical video recording technology, which gradually refined itself into the form I have here of a giant reflective video disc. Now, these discs are extra cool compared to even modern DVDs, because they use analog video signals instead of digital to read the data, giving them a quality sound comparable to vinyl records, which was a main selling point for the technology, marketed to movie lovers that were also audiophiles and wanted that theater sound.
And I sound good. I sound better than good. Fact is, the stereo on the Pioneer LaserDisc is as good as anything I ever heard on my stereo. And according to the experts, the picture blows videotape away. Now, who am I to argue?
The Pioneer LaserDisc brand video disc player. Video for those who really care about audio.
And they did have surprisingly good video quality for the time, as you can see here, often ranging between 425i to 480i, and even sometimes 576 on PAL machines. Plus, LaserDiscs were able to be shipped in their original theatrical aspect ratios, utilizing letterbox and widescreen formats, while keeping video quality and parts of the scenes that would otherwise be cut off, unlike on VHS tapes of the time. And LaserDiscs could include extended play features like chapter selection, frame-by-frame click-through using a jog wheel, and multiple audio track selections like modern DVDs, allowing you to skip to various parts of the film, which was way ahead of its time and definitely not a feature of VHS tapes. And they didn't wear out from repeated uses, unlike a VHS tape, with the exception of disc rot, but we'll get to that. This brand new shiny video disc entered the American market as a home theater option during the holiday season of 1978, going into 1979, with companies beginning promotion of these new state-of-the-art players, and at the same time, they began stocking selections of video entertainment for an eventual nationwide release. We can see this just a few years later in 1981, with the RCA Records adding Race for Your Life Charlie Brown to their inventory to go with their new SFT 100W video disc player. LaserDisc entered the market with a bang, with the company MCA Discovision releasing the first LaserDisc in North America, Jaws, on December 11th, 1978. And an excellent one to start with if I do say so myself, and one I actually need to add to my collection. And from there it was off to the races, with almost everything under the sun being released on the format.
Super concerts by top entertainers, blockbuster films, both current and vintage, cooking lessons, documentaries, how to do a tennis, golf, swimming, and crafts, cartoons, the arts, NFL football, interactive discs, all of them and more.
The latest and greatest movies are on LaserDisc at Video and Sound downtown. For about the same price as a new VCR, you can enjoy movies the way they were meant to be seen. Look at this selection. Who can boast of more makes and models than Video and Sound? The movie titles now number over 4,000 with new releases every day.
Movies from almost every genre came out on LaserDisc, from Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, to The Godfather, Disney films, Terminator and Titanic, Alien, The Matrix, Wallace and Gromit, and of course, more anime and non-English titles than I could possibly ever cover in one video, including this Ghibli box set here, which we'll take a look at soon. LaserDisc had a good bit of popularity throughout Southeast Asia and in Hong Kong, particularly in the karaoke scene, with dedicated laser karaoke players.
Sharp's fully featured karaoke LD player with auto-reverse playback, magic voice, and Sharp's unique party games function. Sharp's NVK 7000, the karaoke king.
They also found an early use case in the late 1970s and early 80s in General Motors car dealerships across North America, where LaserDiscs were used to distribute training material and presentation videos of the newest cars and trucks in their lineup. And I actually found someone who used one of these LaserDiscs in their dealership back in the day. So when did you first get introduced? Like you say, it rolled up and it showed up at the dealership.
Well, we were in the habit of receiving essential tools or specific equipment at the behest of General Motors. They would ship the product to the dealership, and then we would go ahead and either use the special tools to repair the cars, or in this case, the General Motors Discovision was used to train our sales force and our service force. It was an early version of a DVD, so to speak. It was the forerunner to the DVD format. It would appear at the time a major improvement to what we were used to, which would have been older movies or training cassettes that did not have a visual component. But the quality of the GM Discovision was a major step forward, where it would hold your interest. A lot of their training format consisted of utilizing celebrities or very accomplished, successful people, such as Vince Lombardi of the Green Bay Packers, the coach of the Green Bay Packers. He did a series that was motivational and very practical for up-and-coming salespeople.
When you got the LaserDisc and brought it in, you said it was on this giant, like 6-foot apparatus where it had the player in the middle and the TV on top.
That's right. Well, it was first shipped to us. There was basically three main components. There was the audio-visual stand, GM Discovision player, and then a TV monitor. And the monitor sat on top of about a 6-foot high stand. It was a press board component stand that was assembled and had a storage unit in the lower side of it to put the various training discs. And then your disco player sat about belt height, which you loaded them in, and then they played so everybody could see it. In a training session, it was elevated and you could see it on the color monitor.
And you said that it was really useful because it had chapters. So if you wanted to show a salesman like one particular chapter, you could really easily skip to it.
Yes, the average training disc was maybe 45 minutes to an hour long. And of course, that's far too long to do a quick sales meeting with your staff. So what we would do is the manager would, myself at the time, would preview the disc, and then there may be components or chapters within that disc that were appropriate for the daily sales meeting or the weekly sales meeting. And we would play that chapter and then discuss it amongst our salespeople and use it as a real training opportunity to provide practical information for them to use in their presentation of the General Motors product and the sales benefits to the consumer.
What was it like seeing the technology for the first time? Because you would have been one of the first people to ever watch a LaserDisc.
Well, we were quite impressed with the quality of the video and the audio. It played very well. It did capture the attention of the potential people being trained. They were able to, if they wanted to replay it, they were able to, on their own time, go up to their training area and replay those chapters or a certain area of the training disc. And that's where it became a very useful tool. If somebody couldn't absorb it the first time through, they could play it as many times as they wanted until they understood it. And it was also, GM would use it to illustrate their new product, to roll out some of the new features of the new product. Cruise controls, power windows, automatic air conditioning, whatever. These were upgrades to what was being produced at the time, and General Motors would use that as also a vehicle to deliver their new facts and features about their product.
And you also mentioned that the GM video disc that was actually branded General Motors, and you were sent it in like a series, like you got a new one every once in a while whenever they had updated stuff for you guys with the General Motors branding on the disc.
Yes, I'm trying to recall the proper name of that series, but I believe it was called Select Sales Training Series. And so over time, say once a month, we would receive a new training disc, and it would be, say, number 1 through 10 in the Select Training Series. So once you had completed the full 10 laser discs, then you were then, as a dealer, you were certified as a Select Training Sales dealership.
About how long did this last where you had LaserDisc? Because the LaserDisc was eventually phased out and replaced with the DVD. About how many years were you sent these LaserDiscs?
I'm going to say from the inception to the end of them actually shipping laser discs for us to play would have been maybe no longer than 4 to 5 years.
Oh, that's pretty short.
Yes, the industry moved very quick, where there was this struggle between full-size LaserDisc format and the DVD-sized format. And at the time, it did not appear that DVD would win that race.
Yeah.
It would appear that the quality and the length of training material was better suited to the full-size LaserDisc. However, very quickly, the DVD format was adopted for its ease of shipment, its ease of storage, and the quality was also high. So the LaserDisc became obsolete within a very short time.
Any other fun memories or weird memories about having them in the dealership with you?
Other than the way that we procured it, it was sent to us as an essential tool, and the dealers were expected to buy into the program, because anybody knows that essential tools are charged back to the dealership, and so that was the one humorous side of it, that they were rolling out new technology. Every dealer was going to be trained and well informed. However, the dealer had to step up and pay for that option. They weren't really given a choice.
So the GM procured this new technology, rolled it out to the dealers, and they're like, all right, this is what you're using now.
It's just right. You're ready to go, fellows. We've already shipped the product. We expect you to get on board. And by the way, behind the scenes, we're going to invoice you on your open account for the pleasure of using the video disc system. And if memory serves me correct, it's somewhere around the $6,000 to $7,000 that was in the initial investment, And then, of course, the training material was provided on a pay-as-you-play basis.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you talking with me and sharing what you remembered about it.
My pleasure. And that's going back a little bit of history, but it was an early start to what we now take for granted as the DVD systems, the DVD format. But we were excited to get it, and there was no other, just a little tidbit, there was no other competitive dealerships that had that training material, whatever arrangement GM had made. It was rather an exclusive arrangement to the supplier. And so GM dealerships had that advantage of being able to train their people with the GM DiscoVision system, whereas our competitors such as Ford or Chrysler or some of the import products didn't have that at the time. And it was a quality show of leadership on General Motors' behalf to make that investment early and see the importance of training people.
LaserDisc's strongest foothold over the course of its lifetime was in Japan, where it saw decent popularity, being used in about 10% of Japanese households by the year 1999, and the country was a main hub of manufacturing for players and discs alike. The Japanese LaserDisc release of Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace in 1999 was one of the first formats to offer 6.1-channel Dolby Digital EX Surround for home theaters, keeping LaserDiscs at the forefront of premium movie sound experience, even late into its life cycle. And a lot of the time, these LaserDiscs did come at a premium. Some higher-end LaserDisc players, such as the Japanese pioneer HLD-X0 High-Vision HD TV Muse, would have run someone a cool 800,000 yen during its 1995 release. We can do some loose math here to figure out about what this would have cost today. The conversion rate between the Japanese yen and the US dollar in 1995 was about 154 yen for every dollar, which is actually about what it is today. So that 800,000 yen would equate to about $5,200. But that was in 1995. If we adjust for inflation, then in today's money, 30 years after the Muse's release, the HLD-X0 would be approximately $11,000. So that $5,000 price tag on eBay is actually kind of a deal at the OG list price, though still entirely unreasonable for any average human. Models like this were the best home theater experience money could buy for its time, and would have been quite the statement to show off to friends, along with your hands-free Motorola phone that would run you about $1,500 to go in your luxury vehicle of choice so you could take that important phone call on the way to the office.
With a Radio Shack cellular phone, you're in business all the time.
I'll have a firm offer in your hands in 20 minutes. Yeah.
The drywall's coming in tomorrow. Hey, what's the matter?
I'm running late. Can you pick up the kids?
Interestingly, on the lower end of the market, some players were known to have unreliable mechanisms inside, leading to expensive repairs, and they could vary wildly in picture quality, which is an odd thought since your average DVD or Blu-ray player today looks basically exactly the same regardless of which one you buy. It was quite the Wild West of a player market, and there wasn't a lot of quality insurance during the production of these, which spilled over into the production of the discs themselves. LaserDiscs can experience what is called disc rot, which is pretty self-explanatory, and can happen for a variety of reasons. When stored properly, people have been able to keep their discs for the last 20 years without issue, while others have deteriorated and gone the way of the car phone. Thankfully, we're fortunate in our day and age to have the internet with forums of people who've graciously taken the time to make incredible logs of which discs are usually good to go and which one are more prone or known to have this issue. And it all comes down to a little catalog number on the back of each cover, or on the label of the disc. It tells you exactly what year is produced and at what location, with certain locations being worse manufacturing offenders than others. And to look up this code information, I've personally been using the LaserDisc database, LDDB.com, which hosts an incredible amount of crowdsourced information. As an example with my Jurassic Park Letterboxd edition here, if we go to the website search bar and type in Jurassic Park, we have an entire list of different Jurassic Park LaserDisc variations that were released. The one we're looking for is 41830. Clicking to go to this releases page, we find that its rock probability status is very low. And drilling down even further, it says only 4 people using this site have reported that their discs have had cases of rot. By contrast, if we look up 1591CS, my Beauty and the Beast LaserDisc that we have here that we looked at the beginning, it says, avoid this release, with 37 reported cases of rot. It would have cost $50 on release, and is now only going for $2.95. Love it. This was not a problem I was aware of when I first originally picked up this Beauty and the Beast disc, and when we take a look at my collection later, we're actually going to pop it in and see if my discs is one of the bad ones. Now thankfully, some LaserDisc movies were produced by more than one manufacturer. So if a particular production code shows bad disc rot, you could potentially find the same movie under a different code and manufacturer, and have better luck, albeit potentially in a different language and for a different region player. LaserDisc Database has dedicated an entire page to help warn others of problematic discs and explain why it occurs. So, because of the prohibitively high cost of getting your hands on a good player, the variance and quality of players, LaserDisc's inability to do the one thing people cared about in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which was record their favorite programs and movies off the TV, and the eventual introduction of the CD and DVD, the LaserDisc format became obsolete, with Tokyo Raiders, the last LaserDisc ever pressed, released in late 2001. Today, they're mainly enjoyed by enthusiasts, audiophiles, movie lovers, and random plebeians like yours truly, trying to experience this amazing format that pioneered an industry. Heh, get it? Pioneered?
Now that is an entirely new dimension in entertainment.
And with that, let's quickly go over what we have here on the table. This is my personal collection that I have been slowly building up, and they make me so incredibly happy. As we go through each one, I found a number of fun facts and interesting points about these discs from the contributors on LaserDisc Database. So thank you guys so much for commenting and sharing that all with the world. It was really interesting for me, and I'd love to share with you guys. Starting off here with our first LaserDisc, we have U.S. Marshals from 1998. I love this movie. The LaserDisc has tons of bonus materials in the last couple chapters and audio commentary from the director, and is just a really, really wonderful movie. It actually still is in the original shrink wrap with the original movie price of $62.99. These things did not come cheap back in the day. Next up, we have Patriot Games from 1992. Based on the Tom Clancy novel, some people like it, some people don't. I think it's great because Harrison Ford does an amazing job in this movie, and it's just fun. There you go. So there's the front and the back. And here we have the second LaserDisc I ever bought, The Hunt for Red October from 1990. I love this movie. Also based off the Tom Clancy novel, this soundtrack is iconic, and obviously Sean Connery is the best. This one can tend to have a little bit of disc rot, and mine unfortunately is starting to show signs of it. But I will enjoy it for now. It sounds incredible when playing it, and I absolutely love the gatefold. It's beautiful. The front cover is gorgeous. There's what the back looks like. I love this movie. Very happy to have it in my collection, even though it is starting to get a little rough. Next up, we have The Fugitive from 1993. This one can have bad rot depending on which location it was manufactured at, but the database doesn't say which manufacturing place was bad, it just says possible candidates, so I have no idea if this one's bad or not. I actually haven't played my own copy, so why don't we pop it in and take a look. And right off the bat, it already looks like it does have a good bit of rot. You can see here, there's like a lot of speckling going on and a lot of light issues. Here, let's skip forward to a scene. So it might be very subtle on camera, but there's little specks of light that are like little fireflies popping up all over the screen. And so yeah, this one definitely is starting to get a little bit of rot, which is unfortunate. Right now though, it looks great. So as long as I kind of keep this one out of the sunlight and minimally use it, it should still last a little while, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Next up on our list that is a complete divergence from these first couple movies we looked at, we have a copy of White Christmas. Now, this is a classic. It's got great music, great dancing, really pretty dresses, and there's nothing really else to note of this release. It is quite the traditional Christmas film, many people's tradition to watch during the holidays, and yeah, I saw this one on the shelf and thought it was a really pretty one to pick up. Next up, we have our second Christmas movie, A Christmas Carol from 1984. Another Christmas classic, this version has those creepy children called Wanton Avarice or something under the gross of Christmas presents cloak, and I hate that part, but still a really great adaptation of the book. Oh yeah, of course, they had to put it on the cover. There they are. There's the two guys I'm talking about. I hate those things. They creep me out. I guess that's the point though. But yes, there's the cover. And then there's the front. Now, The Muppet Christmas Carol, in my humble opinion, is far superior. I love A Muppet Christmas Carol, and it actually has a LaserDisc version. This has direct quotes from Charles Dickens' book, it's historically accurate costuming, it's hilarious, it stars Michael Caine. The LaserDisc as well is the only home release that's in its original letterbox aspect ratio, and includes When Love Is Gone, unlike the VHS and DVD releases, which is like such a significant part of the movie. It like shows Scrooge's character development and his regret making his past life choices, and anyway, I need to buy this copy to go with this copy at some point. But moving on. Next up here, we have another classic. We have Forrest Gump, which needs no other introduction, but it does include Through the Eyes of Forrest Gump behind the scenes, which is really, really cool. So there's the front, and then this one is a gatefold, which is really nice. I always love when they have all this extra imagery on the inside, sometimes a descriptive language. I love it. It's really, really cool to see. And then we have the back. Next up, we have one of the most expensive things here on the table, The Sound of Music from 1965. This baby would have cost you $70 on release, making it one of the most expensive releases we have here, along with The Fugitive and a couple other ones we'll look at. By comparison, everything else on this table would have been list price for $35 to $40, with the exception of this guy. This guy we will talk about very, very soon. Also, apparently, the Technodisc pressing of this disc is the proper 2.35 aspect ratio and has beautiful colors, while the Pioneer pressing of this LaserDisc is 2.2 and is kind of washed out. I genuinely can't figure out which version I have looking at the cover, so let's pop it in and see what it looks like. So taking a look at the image, there is a little bit of dotting, which means that these might have a little bit of disc rot, which is unfortunate. The colors look fine, but I don't have anything good to compare it with at the moment, so I'll have to do a little bit of research, see if this is the right aspect ratio, and maybe compare it to something else with the colors. But at the moment, this looks really, really pretty. Man, I haven't watched this movie in forever. It's such a good one. And then on the inside, we have, again, wonderful text, all this beautiful imagery, and then there is the back. And the last movie we have here on this top row is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory 25th Anniversary Edition. This, with the incredible Gene Wilder, is a remaster and includes the original trailers shown in theaters, and it has an extra audio track where you can switch off the vocal parts of songs if you want to make it a sing-along session, which is really fun. Obviously a classic movie. I absolutely love this one. It's very unhinged and very, very fun. And now we are on to the second row with one of my favorite movies to start out, Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express from 1974. I love this movie. I love this original version. I love the 2017 remake. It's just super fantastic. One thing about this movie is the accents for the characters are very time accurate. It takes place in Europe, and they're very thick. And my auditory processing disorder just cannot keep up any of the times I watch this movie. But I already know what's happening. I love it. So one of my favorite things to do is just imagine new lines of dialogue every time I see it, like listening to one of those songs with misheard lyrics. This is an incredible LaserDisc release. It looks really, really good. I haven't had any issues with disc rot on this one. I've already taken the time to watch it myself. This is such a good one. Next up here, one you guys might recognize a lot. I know a couple other YouTubers that have this copy. Batman, 1989. Another classic. Interesting notes about this one people found is this LaserDisc release increased the overall brightness of the film, since people apparently complained it was too dark to see what the heck was going on in theaters. It's also the only one that keeps the original stereo audio of the movie, where later releases and other releases on LaserDisc even featured a 5.1 audio track that changes a lot of the sound effects. But this is the original one with all of the good stuff, the Tim Burton version of Batman from 1989. And next up, we're getting into the wholesome section of all of my LaserDiscs, starting with the Aristocats. I love this movie. This was my childhood. This movie was my childhood. I loved this movie so much growing up. I had the stuffed animal Marie doll and everything, and the music just absolutely jams like other Disney films from this era. This LaserDisc release is also really interesting because it includes English on the digital audio tracks and Spanish if you switch to the analog audio track, the Spanish version of the film. So, that's really cool. And our next Disney film, I mean, come on, who doesn't love the original Toy Story? This version was apparently sourced from an original 35mm transfer of the film, which is really cool. No other interesting notes about that, but I love how colorful this is. I love the back. It's obviously so kid-focused and so cute. I love this one. And the next one is the one we talked about at the very beginning of our video, Beauty and the Beast from 1991. The notes on this one say it's an incredible master of the film and has 17 minutes of supplemental material, extensive bonus materials of an alternative version of Be Our Guest, camera move test for the classic ballroom scene, a pencil test, original theatrical trailer, and theatrical review trailers. Really, really cool set, and extremely unfortunate that this one has such bad disc rot. Thankfully, this is the only one in my collection that has really, really bad disc rot. I know I'm kind of starting to get there with some of the other releases, but this is the only one that is like, people are like, don't buy it, it's not great, which is unfortunate because it was another expensive release for people when they bought this originally. But taking a look again, I wanted to show you guys the front and then the inside, and while you guys are looking at that, I am going to walk over and we're going to actually pop this in, because I haven't watched it yet. I've been a little too scared to, and see if mine is just as bad as others. Also, when you're handling LaserDiscs, you're not supposed to touch the inside. You can already see a couple fingerprints. You're just supposed to have the edge and the inside like that. So if you have hands any smaller than mine, this might be a little bit of a problem. Oh my gosh. Guys, it looks okay. Oh, no, there's a little bit. I see it. There's a little bit of fire flying going on. Guys, that looks okay. Oh my gosh, it's all right. There's a little bit. There's a little bit here and there. But that looks fine. It looks good. I don't mind that at all. It looks just as good as when I had Jurassic Park in. In a couple scenes, there has been little tiny spots here and there where it's problematic potentially. But, oh, that's cool. And there's the pencil test for the scene. That's amazing. I'm so glad. I'm going to take it back out and put it back in its slipcase where it's safe. I'm so glad I have a good copy. I don't know how I managed that. Again, this was the first LaserDisc I ever bought. I just picked it up at random at a retro store. Oh, I'm so incredibly happy that it looks okay. And our last Disney movie we have here is Bambi, the 55th Anniversary Edition. Also with beautiful shiny foil on the cover for this one too. And it has beautiful behind-the-scenes photos on the inside of the gatefold. So there's the front. Look at that. Look how beautiful this one is. This release was amazing. They restored and improved the color. They restored the music. It's got bonus footage looking at the making of Bambi, original theatrical trailer and reissue trailer, tricks of the trade with a special excerpt featuring Walt Disney, original concept art and character design, things that were originally broadcasted in 1957. This is a gorgeous release, and they've done a really, really great job making it beautiful with wonderful sound, so you can really live all of that fantastic trauma from the end of the film. But this is a great one. And next up we have Jurassic Park that I've been playing on the TV this whole time. I love this movie so much, probably more than I should. There's no issue notes for this one on the LaserDisc database, so I'm going to show you guys this beautiful edition. This guy was sealed when I bought it. I unsealed it because I want to watch things, you know, I want to enjoy what I own, and I liked the fact that this one hadn't been messed with before. It was in mint condition, minus the fact that, like, it did get a little beat up on the sides a bit, but this one is brand new. This is the first time this disc has ever been played. And this one is really, really cool, and unlike all of the other LaserDiscs I have here on the table, because it opens like a book. And then it opens to this beautiful image. And then behind here we have a little advertisement for other Steven Spielberg movies. All the LaserDiscs that you can get from MCA Universal Home Video, which is really, really cool. And then all the LaserDiscs themselves are stored in here. I love this set. This is a beautiful addition to the collection, and I was really, really happy to find. The Japanese versions of Jurassic Park as well are really awesome, by the way, if you want to check those out. But I personally picked up this one for myself, and I absolutely love it. Also, Jurassic Park is another movie in this lineup that was originally listed at $75 on its release. So that was another one, along with Sound of Music and U.S. Marshals, that was a little bit pricier when it first came out back in the day. Our next one we have up, which is a favorite of many, many people's, is Star Wars. And I have the version where the cover just says Star Wars. It's not A New Hope. It's not the first of the trilogy or anything advertised like that. This is the original theatrical release version. Obviously superior, and hopefully will last a lot longer than my poor VHS tapes of the original theatrical release. This, plus being LaserDisc, it also has THX. Oh my gosh. When this plays with the Star Wars soundtrack, this LaserDisc sounds amazing. It looks amazing. So let's take a look at it. So there, we have the cover. And there we have the inside of the gatefold. It's just absolutely incredible. Scenes from the movie on the back with a little bit of a description. This guy is definitely a treasure in the collection. And one extra little note that someone left on LaserDisc database, which was really nice, is the alien subtitles, like, you know, when Han Solo shoots first and all that kind of stuff, anytime an alien's talking in the movie, since it's letterboxed, it has the subtitles underneath the film instead of over the top of the film, which is really nice. And next up, I don't have the middle one. I skipped to Return of the Jedi. I'm working on finding The Empire Strikes Back. As a special note, actually, with this one, compared to the original Star Wars that I have here, this isn't letterbox, as you can see. It takes up the whole screen, because this version was a remastering done using the pan and scan format, and I had no idea what this was until I saw someone leave a comment about that. That's what this version is. Pan and scan meant movies encoded into 4:3 ratio by intelligently panning and scanning horizontally across the widescreen film to keep the action in the middle of the screen. Though better than merely cropping the image, this still results in the loss of at least 30% of the original image. This version utilizes the entire TV screen here, which would have been really great back in the day because you could take up and really see a lot of the picture, especially if you had a smaller screen like this. But you didn't see it the way it was originally done in theaters, and you are missing a lot of the film on either side. But still a really, really great release. I'm glad I have this one, and I will be looking eventually for the middle one, The Empire Strikes Back, to round out the collection. This one I decided to go in and show you guys on the screen because this is the only music video style LaserDisc that I have, and it is the Michael Jackson's Moonwalker from 1998. This is a remastered version. It is really, really cool. I thought this one was definitely worth getting. There are tons of LaserDiscs that have music videos that are just full concerts. This is a very cool LaserDisc. And finally, oh my gosh, we are on to the Chonky Boy, the most expensive thing I have here on this table, the Ghibli ga Ippai collection. I think I might have mispronounced that, but it's from 1996. It is a Ghibli movie collection of LaserDiscs. And this incredible box set would have retailed in Japan for 98,000 Japanese yen. If we do some loose math again that we did earlier, that would have been about $650-ish, or $1,316 in today's money. This guy, plus the High-Vision Muse player that we talked about earlier from Japan, would have been the sickest setup any weeb could have possibly dreamed of in the 90s. And today, it's not $1,000, but it still ain't cheap. But it was totally worth adding to the collection. I'm a huge Ghibli fan, and I absolutely adore this box, and I'm going to struggle to get it out because it's very, very heavy, and I do not want to rip the very old and very delicate cardboard cover box that this is in. So give me 1 second while I try and get this out. Whew. And there we go. Oh my goodness. This set is expensive, it's beautiful, and it's considered complete and even more valuable with the beautiful promotional Oni ribbon here on the side. It's kind of like this satiny fabric that it's wrapped in. So there's the front, it's got like a blue foil for May there on the front. There's the back with all the listed contents, which I will tell you guys what this is soon for anyone that doesn't read Japanese like me. And it is absolutely gorgeous. And similar to the Jurassic Park one, it opens like a book. So we're gonna set this down and open this guy up to show you all. Ooh, there we go. So, massive, massive box. The first thing we have here in this box is a 16-page saddle stitch booklet. It is really, really cool. I need to take the time sometime to go through and translate all of these pages and read what they say. Is really, really nice. It's a really beautifully made book. It's got wonderful matte paper. There we go. There's the back of it. And now we can move on to the movies included in this set. And there are a lot of them. And some of them have really cool features that I'd like to tell you guys about. So the LaserDisc 1 at the top, we have Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. Absolutely beautiful. And then each of these are just the slipcover. None of them are gatefolds or anything like that. It just has the disc and its protective sleeve right there on the inside. So that's the first one, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. Next up, we have Laputa, the Castle in the Sky, in its original 1.85:1 aspect ratio. It's at excellent movie, one of my favorites out of this set. I hadn't never watched it before until recently, and I absolutely adore this one. The cool thing about this one, along with a couple other select movies in this set, is using the split audio track options on LaserDisc. The surround sound channel for this disc is in Japanese, and if you switch it to mono, it has English dub, which is really, really cool, and I'll explain later why that's significant.
I could watch it in English with Channel 1, go back and hear the actors speaking the same line in another language on Channel 2. What a marvelous learning tool.
Next up, we have the one everyone knows and loves. It's My Neighbor Totoro, with Japanese surround and English mono channels. Next up, we have The Grave of the Fireflies. If you haven't seen this movie, do not be deceived by its very cute cover. It takes place during World War II, and it does not end well. This is a hard watch, and you have to have a strong constitution to get through this movie. It's incredible. If you can make it through it, it's wonderful, but this is not cute. This is not Totoro. I don't know why it's slammed between Totoro and Kiki. It shouldn't be. It's it's beautiful though. It's great. It's awful, but it's wonderful. It's one of those. So, Grave of the Fireflies. And next up we have Kiki's Delivery Service. Again, one of the few that we have with Japanese on the surround track and English on the mono track, which is really wonderful. Kiki's Delivery Service. Oh, I love this one. Next up, we have Only Yesterday, which is a really wonderful retelling of the life of an adult woman and the emotions she goes through revisiting old places, reliving childhood memories. Next up, we have Porco Rosso. If you haven't watched this movie, you need to watch this movie. It is one of the best ones. I know there's a lot of Ghibli fans that rant and rave about the other movies in this box and other ones that have been released by Miyazaki, but this one's good. Watch it. It deserves love. I highly recommend. Also, this one in this box set has the Japanese surround and English mono tracks, which is awesome. So, Porco Rosso. A very good one. Next up, we have one I'm not familiar with, and I haven't watched yet. There's no English on this one. It's called Umi ga Kikoreru. I don't know what it translates to. I deeply apologize. I did not do my research on this one. I don't know why. But it's another movie in the collection, and I will be watching it myself to see what it's all about. Looks very cute. Moving on, we have a classic that, if you know, you know. This movie gets a little funky. This is Hisai Tanuki Gassen Pompoko, or just most people know it as Pompoko, with all the tanukis on the front. Extremely cute. Came out in 1994. It is interesting and very fun. Next up, we're on to our final couple movies. We have Whisper of the Heart, another one that I have not watched, similar to Umiga. This one, I don't know the premise of this one. I don't know why I didn't look it up ahead of time to research for this film. I'll put little descriptions so that you guys know what the heck this is about. But it looks really, really cute as well. So there's that film. And then the last couple things in this box, we have On Your Mark, which includes the making of Omari Poporo. I've seen trailers of it. I've seen this used in music videos. This one also doesn't have any English. The last number ones I said don't have English tracks on them. This one is also the only one that has additional graphic on the back and not just the name. Really, really cool, and has a little bit of making of on the disc, which is fun. And then finally, a really cool aspect of this LaserDisc set is an 102-minute interview with Miyazaki and Kurosawa in Japanese about just the making of the movies. Really, really awesome. So, now that we have gone through all of the movies here and I've shown you guys off what is in the box, the cool fact that I'd love to tell you guys about is the English dub that's on these discs. Now, what you would hear today would usually be the Disney version of the English dubbing for these movies, but that's not what's on these discs. See, this box set was released in 1996, the same year that Studio Ghibli partnered with Disney to translate, craft, properly localize, and release English versions of the films for Western audiences. So, the English voice acting on the mono channels you hear on these discs
were completed by Streamline Pictures, an American media company that was best known for its distribution of English-dubbed Japanese animation, including the very first English dub of Akira. The Rerun Lounge over here on YouTube has a great video covering the differences between the Streamline and Disney dubs of My Neighbor Totoro if you're interested.
It's really fun to hear not the one you were used to hearing. It's just really funny. plugging it in and hearing just this weird menagerie of English voices attempting to translate, and some of the translations do not work. It's very, very funny. They did try really hard. It takes a lot. There's so many cultural and like significant language things that completely get lost in translation between Japanese and English. Miyazaki himself has said if you want to get all of the nuance and subtleties out of his films, to just learn Japanese. And boy, I've tried. It has not gone well. And that is all the movies wrapped up. Let's move on to the last thing I have over here on the table, my LaserDisc player. The Pioneer CLD M90 that's capable of not only playing LaserDiscs, but its tray can hold up to 6 CDs at a time, or have 5 CDs in the LaserDisc at a time, or just the CDs, so you could switch between them without having to open the drawer. Which, on paper, is really cool, but the execution of the idea for this player wasn't super great compared to other models on the market. Technology Connections has a great video going over how this player works, and all of his interesting quirks if you're interested. Now, I definitely could have sourced a better one, and one that is a lot nicer like the models we talked about earlier, but this player was local, it was $30, and it works, so that's what I went with. Now, I also picked up a remote and manual to go with it. Where's the manual? A remote and manual. Did I say that? I said it backwards. Manual. And the remote. And I realized that I definitely needed these to go along with the player. I had to pick these up separately on eBay because I wanted to be able to use the chapter feature without having to like stand up and go push buttons on the front of the player itself, and because this manual had instructions on how to change the audio tracks. Because like, as with listening to the English dubs on the Ghibli collection and any of the other audio track settings with the LaserDiscs, I needed to know how on earth to do that. Now, the other little black box that I've had here on the desk the whole time to go with the LaserDisc player as well is a Framemeister. Now, this guy was a pain in the butt to get my hands on. Also, when I got the remote to go with it, I had to put a little decal over the top with the English because underneath the remote is totally in Japanese. The reason I got this guy was it was built with retro hardware and consoles in mind, taking the analog video signal and upscaling it for use with HDMI, which is really, really great for viewing any of these movies or anything in my collection on a larger, more modern screen, along with other game consoles I have. So this is an option in case, like, you know, I don't find... I used to have a cathode ray tube TV that was like 65 inches growing up, and my family got a deal on it because it was on sale. It was massive. It was so heavy. Oh my goodness, but it was huge. It was a big 65-inch, and we could plug analog into it, and it was great for playing Melee. But nowadays, like, that TV's toast. The only TVs I have that are really period accurate right now are, well, this one, which is why it's here, which is very small. So anytime I want to play any of these movies, I can use this guy to convert it to HDMI so that I can see it properly on a big screen while still not losing any of the original video quality or the sound that comes with LaserDisc. LaserDiscs overall are a very niche hobby, and a rather unnecessary way of enjoying films in today's day and age with streaming services and so many things at our fingertips. But even from when I was little, some of my favorite gifts growing up were getting my own copies of movies that I loved, and the newest video game that came out that year, where I opened it up and I got to hold it. And that's something that I love to this day. I love having something that I can hold and really own and hand to someone and say, look at this, look how beautiful the packaging design is, look how pretty it is. It's so awesome to just be able to own something. And I love how so many of these have behind the scenes content, additional scenes, features that are unique to the film's history, and being able to see these movies the way they were originally presented and aired in theaters. Looking at you, Star Wars. And overall, just owning these makes me really, really happy. I absolutely love these giant, oversized Star Trek DVDs.
So there you have it. Gourmet video for people who know and love video. Magnavision. Another bright idea from Magnavox.
If you're interested in seeing more of my face and want to watch more of my content, you can go here to my channel, where you can delve through my entire library of gameplay videos. I also have more retro tech videos on the way, and ones that I have done, such as Blue, my Windows 2000 computer from my childhood that I restored recently. And if you really like my stuff, I would greatly appreciate your support in continuing this channel, either through liking and commenting and subscribing, or if you're interested, I also have a Patreon and YouTube channel memberships, whatever works for you. And either way, I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!